Hello again, guys, and welcome back to Game 3. Decidueye was able to tie it up last game. Getting off the Vileplume lock with a Decidueye on the field. He was able to take over that game. So it will be Game 3 here. TJ will be taking first. And we'll see who takes this match between Darktina and Decidueye Vileplume. The handshake and we flip. TJ gets the Shaman to start with, and Sean starts with a Tauros in the active and an Oddish on the bench. So, good start for Sean. TJ gets the back end of the start a little bit. Does have an Ultra Ball. So he's dropping a Sycamore and a Ninja Boy. So let's see what he fetches here. Probably looking for Hoopa, probably looking for the Shaman. Going through his whole deck, making sure what's in there, what's not. Plays he has, what plays he doesn't. So playing the deck, I know Sean's definitely happy about his start there. Start with that Tauros is always great. Big wall for your opponent to kind of decide if he wants to attack into it or not. A lot of knockback from that card. Playing the Dark Energy to the Geared, or I'm sorry, the Shaman. Drops Darkrai with an Experience Share. Looks like he max elixired. Missed the max elixir. Things just keep getting rough for TJ for sure. Definitely, I think he's looking to Sky Return that Shaman. Now he's able to retreat, but there'd be no real point to go into either one of his attackers that have no energy. So both players kind of just watching the board state a little bit. TJ decides to Versus Seeker for Sycamore for the next turn. I guess he was waiting to see what he really wanted to do for his next turn. The turn he just had wasn't all that productive. He's able to get the Force down quick and pluts down the Gloom. Trainer's Mails and doesn't hit anything. So he hasn't had much luck with his Trainer's Mails this match. He's missed quite a few of them. Well, speaking of that, here comes another one. He grabs the Sycamore with that. He's happy. His hand probably wasn't that great after dropping the couple cards he did. Yep, and a fresh hand for Sean. Hoping to get the item lock off early. So TJ's just over there hoping he doesn't slap down that Vileplume. But he does have the Ultra Ball. Does go for the Shaman. Looking at his hand, seeing how many cards he'll actually get off of it. Still pretty easy to brick even off drawing like 4 from a Shaman. Plays double colorless on that Tauros, so Tauros is now active. He'll Shaman for a few cards here. Trainer's Mail again. So he's used 3 Trainer's Mail, and he doesn't get anything off that one either. So Trainer's Mails, max, because there's always cards that are definitely high in RNG. You always just praying that that next card you're gonna grab is what you need. But as we've seen, it's not always consistent. That's why players decide to sometimes play 3 or even 2 Trainer's Mail only. Depending on how reliant the deck is on items and their supporters. So he's going to Ultra Ball him, dropping a Dartrix and a Decidueye. The deck again does run 2 revitalizers, so he might not be worried about dropping those just yet. He's going into another Shaman. He really wanted to dig. Had a couple opportunities to just get the Vileplume attack and pass, but he definitely wants to go in as quick as he can. He's already used quite a few of Trainer's Mails, so Vileplume really wants to try and knock out as many items and resources out of the deck before you activate the lock. So no Vileplume, so the extra digging doesn't pay off for Sean. Probably could have just grabbed the Vileplume and attacked and been in a little bit of a better spot. But so he horn attacks the Shaman, and it's TJ's turn. TJ's going to use another Ultra Ball. So it grabs another Darkrai and Sycamores. So obviously after a couple Ultra Ball searches, the Hoopa must be prized, quite possibly another Shaman. He's going to max Elixir and get that one off. So the Shaman will probably just Sky Return here. He'll add 2 more Dark Energies into his hand, so then he'll be able to pump up a Darkrai. And the other Darkrai also has the experience share, so even if something does get knocked out later turns, one of the energies will shift to that Darkrai, which would be nice. So TJ puts 30 on that Tauros, so not hitting for a whole lot. Sean's going to Lysander the Darkrai with no energy, but the experience share on it, which is a pretty good choice. It's not powered up. It's going to take a couple turns to power it up. It's also got its energy resource card on it, so if that goes off and gets knocked out, he won't be able to, keep an extra energy on board, which definitely lowers Darkrai's output. So the game definitely just a little awkward for both players. Aside from that Tauros that's on board, Sean doesn't really have anything useful for the most part. And TJ's just does not have the resources. He had to play 2 energies onto that Shaman, locking 2 turns up for potential damage output on a Darkrai. So now he's slowly putting energies back down. And of course Sean's Lysander definitely slowed the game down even more on TJ's end, putting that Darkrai out who's already, getting poked at for a good amount of damage. TJ either doesn't have the resources to retreat it, and he doesn't want to dedicate any energies to that Darkrai, because it'll probably get knocked out pretty soon. And without being able to one-shot the Tauros can crack back and put some damage. So Sean is able to instantly slap down a full Decidueye. Obviously had one of the other, he was probably missing the Rowlet off the draw, so he hasn't been able to draw anything as far as that until now. Puts 20 on that newly ready Darkrai on the bench. And we'll see what play Sean has. He had a Sycamore, so he'll get the fresh 7. So TJ should be just a little worried at this point with a fresh 7. Level Ball comes out, another Rowlet will probably come down. So Sean's just going to push now for the rest of the resources in his deck to get a few more Decidueye out, hopefully slap the Plume down, and he'll just sit, attack, put damage, and pass. But we don't know if he has the ability to essentially do anything like that. Saw an Ultra Ball, so he could go for that Plume for sure. Now, the Plume was in hand, so item lock comes out. TJ trying to show the hand, Shaman, Double Dragon Energy. And 60 with another Horn attack. So TJ only has supporters and only has his energies, essentially. He can Lysander the Vileplume out to slow the game down. Give himself some good amount of time to get out of it, because I think Sean's only out to a Lysander like that without the Floatstone is an Olympia. So now the Darkrai is hitting for 200, or I'm sorry, not 200, 100. With the Double Dragon Energy going down on Giratina. But with that, Darkrai already has 120, he knows it'll be knocked out. So he'll just go and pass with only an energy play, anticipating the knockout. Double colorless comes down on that Decidueye, so the Decidueye is set up. And he just Sycamores off the rest of his hand. Probably not too much useful to him in that. Really, I think he just wants to push for another Dartrix and another Decidueye. So he'll hit for the Horn attack. And also reminding TJ to put the 20 on for his last target, last turn. So he's hitting for 100. So it's not quite a knockout, he'll have 50 left. So he Kukuis for 2. It looks like he drew the Double Dragon Energy, so that'll actually snipe the Tauros off the board. Big play there by TJ to stay in the game. Also knocking off the Forest, and actually putting it on the side that'll reduce Sean's attacks by 20 for his Grass Pokemon. So Decidueye is only hitting for 70 now. So the Shaman comes out. So Sean will go to his play where he just likes to do Sky Return and put 20 on, and put something out onto the active as the new target. It's definitely a good way to put the extra little bit of damage you need onto something while keeping the Shaman off the board, and you can just keep doing it with 2 out. So that's what he'll do. He'll just Sky Return for 30 and throw a Rowlet out. He's already dropped a Decidueye and a Dartrix, so he knows he can sacrifice one of the Rowlets. So the Darkrai's hitting for 140 now. So TJ's finally going to Hoopa and just search out a, look like a Giratina. Or I'm sorry, a Darkrai. TJ doesn't have a lot of options other than, either playing a supporter or playing an energy. He's going to get this knockout on the Rowlet, so he knows that. That Darkrai looks like it has close to 90 damage on it. So he'll take the knockout on the Rowlet. TJ only has 3 prizes left, so even though with the rough start, it's still pretty close, even though there's only 1 Decidueye out, and the Plume stopping that Darkrai from hitting for as much as it's hitting for now. So out comes another Rowlet, so that's why he sacked the other Rowlet off. He just gave the whole line to the discard. Grass Energy comes down on the Dartrix, or the Rowlet. So he's putting 20 on that Giratina. TJ reminding him that his field is negging Decidueye's attack and to rethink his placement of the end of the damage, so taking the Darkrai knockout. So potentially obviously would have been a misplay if it had been someone else and didn't want him to remind him that the 20, he just would have let it go. So definitely good to test these things and weed out certain plays like that. Parallel usually gets played on on the blue side, so you kind of forget that the neg from the 20 attack is there playing certain decks. So he'll just go ahead and hit for a nice 100. he can't really do too much else other than play the energy, and I'm sure he doesn't want to drop his whole hand right now. Sean he's getting in that range of getting a little dicey for him, because that Decidueye goes down, and you know, he's not gonna have anything to attack with or protect himself or attack any damage. So TJ would actually have the advantage here if this Decidueye gets knocked out. So pretty slow game here, not many cards being played. It's usually 1 or 2 cards getting dropped and a pass or an attack. So he'll actually Olympia, so there goes his Olympia. And he's gonna put out that Shaman and, you know, have his little combo that he likes, but then he remembers that he can't play the double colorless energy. There's no special energies this turn, so kind of a misplay there. Kind of screwed himself a little bit. TJ laughing, you know, telling him it's out there, you know, it's out there, I told you. So again, this is why we test. But definitely unfortunate for what Sean actually wanted to do. So we'll see what happens. It's TJ's turn. He just opts to attack. Again, there's probably not much he can do. Just passes. Still can't play the energy. So he puts the 20 on the on the Giratina from the Decidueye. Luckily, he has the grass energy to retreat. It would have been really bad if he didn't. It would have been. I probably would have cost him the game if he wouldn't have been able to retreat it. So now the Decidueye is back out with a little bit less damage. Still only doing 70 to that Giratina though from the parallel. Sean thinking pretty hard here, looking at his discard. So taking his time, trying to be as smart as he can. Retreating the Giratina. So down comes another double dragon. So this Salamence is hitting for 60. He obviously couldn't keep the Giratina in the active. It definitely would have been knocked out, and that would have been game. So Sean's just kind of looking at his hand, kind of looking at his options. I mean, that Giratina's already got some damage on it. I would just kind of keep trying to poke at him. He only needs the 1 more knockout. That would be the best choice. Definitely would be smart, even possible, to come into another Decidueye. And then you're putting 40 out on that a turn. So it puts TJ on kind of a timetable on how long he can survive. Yep, and there you go. So he's going to put the 20, continue the damage on the Giratina. And he's actually going to retreat that Decidueye into the Shaman. So he's going to get the Shaman off the board. So he's putting 30 on the Salamence. He's sacrificing another Rowlet. It actually drops the attack of Salamence. Salamence would actually be only hitting for 10. So Sean's able to just kind of drag this out even longer. TJ drops the Shaman, picks up his hand. He replaces the reverse value from the parallel. So now Sean's attacks are hitting for normal again. And he just puts the 10 on the Rowlet. So smart play by Sean to get the Shaman off the board. Just really drags the game out for TJ. Puts another 20 on the Giratina. Just passes. So now that Giratina has 1 more turn. So TJ is definitely on the time clock. Has 1 turn left to try and get either the Decidueye off board or the Giratina clear of damage somehow. TJ looking at his hand. There's still item locks, so no nothing. He's gonna draw his card. And looks like he didn't draw anything useful, and he knows that that next turn would be the knockout. So that's game 3, guys. So Decidueye Plume takes it. Thanks to PBG, and tune in until next time.